Hello.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. Hi, Ritika.
Yeah. So pleased to meet you. It's your first session with me, so very warm welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. How has your day been so far? Has your morning been productive?
Yes, I've done so many things in the morning itself, and it's going fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. What about you?
I'm also good. Thank you for asking that. I've completed some classes or I've done some productive things in the home as well. Right. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. My name is Ritika Dotra. Very warm welcome. As I mentioned before, also please introduce yourself as well. Let me know a little about you.
Yeah, sure. So, my name is Mr. Kuduturu Madhu. I'm from the state of Andhra Pradesh. I'm currently working at Amazon as an investigation specialist, and I'm running a two YouTube channels though.
Nice.
And I'm an enthusiastic guy where I can explore myself, put all the things in the reality. This is all about me.
Okay, okay. So great to know this, and also like you come across someone who's very creative since you run two YouTube channels. So it requires a lot of creativity in terms of creating content, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and also the profession that you're in. You said investigative analyst
Investigation specialist.
specialist. Okay, okay. All right. So since you mentioned about your hobbies today, I would like to know more about like in your leisure time, what do you prefer to do?
Basically, in my leisure time, I prefer to do reading books and evening walks with the peace music and love to play badminton. These are things that I love to do. And also cooking, which
Okay.
is one of my favorite things, and home gardening. I do not more into that, but I love to do that.
Okay. So I do not more into that, or I am not more into that.
I'm not more into that.
Okay. So I would be asking you more questions related to it, since like we are talking about hobbies or things that we love to do or things that we like to do. There is a
Okay.
difference between like and love, right? So I would give you
Mhm.
a few expressions. If you're really into something, it's better to say that I have an avidity for. Like you must have heard, I'm an avid reader, right?
Can get you. Come again.
I'll write it down in the chat box. Just a second. I am an avid reader. You must have heard someone use this expression,
I am an avid reader.
right?
What it
So,
means?
okay, avid reader is someone who is very into the books or who has a habit of reading,
Okay,
particularly.
we could call it as bookworm.
Absolutely right. A bookworm. So, a bookworm is actually an avid reader. So,
Avid
avid is
reader.
what? It's an adjective, noun, or verb. What is it?
It's a avid is basically I would go with a noun, I think.
It's an adjective.
Adjective. Okay.
Okay. Now, the noun form of the same word would be avidity.
Avidity. Okay.
Okay. So instead of saying that I am an avid reader, the sentence can be modified into I have an avidity for reading,
Okay. I have an avidity for reading. Okay.
right? Similarly, I would get a little comfortable with this expression. So can you talk about the things that you really love to do?
Mm, I really love to do is faster and the very basic thing is creating the content for the YouTube channel. And second thing, love to go evening walks with the
Can
peace
you please
music.
try and use this expression?
Oh, avidity. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I love to go evening walk. I mean, wait, I'm sorry.
Instead of love to, you can say I have an avidity for.
Okay. I have an ability to go for the evening walks with the peace music.
Okay. It's better to use for and with this. So I have an avidity for going on evening walks. Like this. This is how
Okay.
the sentence gets modified,
Mm-hmm.
right? Can you use it in one more expression, please?
Mm, just give me a moment. I'm
Okay.
thinking.
You mentioned a lot of things like gardening.
Yes,
How?
yes, I'm thinking about that. Mm, I'm unable to frame. Like, can you help me with the same?
Same. Like I have an avidity for gardening, for reading, for gardening,
Okay, I have an ability for gardening.
right? Can you talk about it in the context of music?
I have an avidity in music
For music, like please use
for
for
music.
with it. That is the appropriate preposition to be used with this.
Okay,
Okay. I am an avid music listener, or I have an avidity for music. Okay.
okay.
Right. Since you mentioned about cooking.
So I have an avidity in cooking.
Good. Okay, so whenever somebody asks you about your hobbies or about your interests, this is one of the way, in order to not sound very monotonous by saying that I love to, or in my free time I love to, or I like to. So these are the basic expressions that we use, right?
Yes,
Alternates would be like one I've already given. Then you can say I am fond of,
fond of. Okay,
right? Or if you're extremely fond of, so you can add extremely also in between, right?
okay.
Then we can say I am, or I have an inclination, or I have a close inclination towards. Just a second, inclination.
I have a close inclination towards. Okay,
Okay, towards something you would be mentioning there. Okay, so if you open some of the, just a second. I don't think that the words which are there in the class notes, they are going to be somewhat new for you. I am sure that you are aware about all these words. So if I were to ask you that, like, is there any habit that you used to pursue earlier but you somewhat have given up on that habit? So what would
mm,
that be? Or hobby also you can mention about.
uh, yes. While I was in a college, I loved to play a badminton since I get a free time.
Mhm.
But recently, I did not more into that because I am not able to get a leisure time to do those things.
Mhm.
That is the what I could say.
Okay, so you said while I was in a college, I love to, or I love to.
I love to
Loved, right? Okay. And should it be a college or while I was in college?
in college.
Absolutely. While I was in college, I loved to play badminton. Then there was this one time where you said a time. So,
Okay.
right? Like when we think about time, so is it countable or uncountable?
Uncountable, so we could not use.
Will not come with it, right? So these are some of the rules that are associated with articles. Maybe actually you were saying which is like a hesitation sound, but that came across like the article
Got
right?
it.
So try to consciously avoid using that. There are other fillers which you can add in between, but fillers I would say that they decrease the impact of speech, but they're actually very smart to be used. Like if you use it smartly and incorporate it into your speech, it will reflect better for you, and make sure that you're using the right one. So I'll talk about it maybe for the subsequent questions. Um, so when we talk about hobbies or interest, and when we associate those with the skills which are one can develop. For example, if you're a YouTube creator, so your like the associated skills with this would be creativity, right? Then the other things would be, yes, you should be a tech savvy as well, right? So these are the skills associated with this, soft skills. So when we talk about, let's say, simple game playing, and especially a team gameplay, so what skills can you associate with such simple activity?
Uh, to play a game, right? You're asking about
In a team,
in a team.
yes.
So I would believe it requires mm, team building,
Yes.
understandability,
Mhm.
and coordination,
Yes.
connection between each other,
Mhm. Actually, if you look
and
at it, team building, coordination, connection, so these are all very close,
Similar mean.
similar, right?
Yep.
Um, if you look back on your resume, what soft skills do we mention there, and which soft skill can you associate with this?
Team player, team member, and hard worker.
Right. So, what do we call such a person who has great ability to work with colleagues, like who goes with or who
Team
gels with
player.
team player? Yes, but there's the skill goes by the name of interpersonal skills.
Oh, interpersonal skills is like communicating unknown person
Correct.
more into like known person.
Also, it's about your ability that how well the other person feels comfortable around you.
Okay.
Right? It's about being friendly in a workplace. So if you have that ability, so that means you have great interpersonal skills. You can communicate well with your colleagues or maybe someone who you're meeting for the first time at your workplace. So that makes you a good like a person who has interpersonal skills, right?
Okay.
Okay, so um, how can we inculcate such habits like when we talk about interpersonal skills, social skills, or team building, empathy? How can we inculcate such important soft skills into young minds through which activities?
Um, by doing the fun activities, the first and the very basic thing, and second thing, giving a critical task between, I mean, among all of them, to do in a minimum stipulated time with a good accuracy rate, and also giving projects can help to build such kind of the relations between the teammates, and activities, proper scenarios, those could help to get such kind of the skills between the
Okay.
teams.
My feedback for you in this answer that how you could have worked better on this speech, whenever you're talking about something or whenever somebody asks you a question, we have to first of all understand that is this person requiring me to give a detailed answer or do I need to be brief, right? When you need to be brief, your answer is on the point. Okay, but let's say when we want to be a little detailed, let's say we are delivering a presentation and we want to talk about these things with maybe our team, like you're, let's say you're a team leader and you lead a team of 5 to 10 people and you're wanting to just talk about it. So the better way to start would be to address the topic first, right?
Okay.
So you start with like these are all skills, right? And these are all soft skills as we mentioned. So you can say one reason why soft skills are so important, so and so. So this is how you're introducing the topic. So always try to touch on the subject in the beginning,
Okay.
right? So use that main term so that the listener identifies what you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then you need to delve deep into the details of that aspect. So you're very well comfortable with using firstly, secondly, you're doing that too often, which is good, right? But just in order to have variety, what other sequential linkers can be used apart from the first thing, the second thing?
Mm, besides, along with,
Absolutely, absolutely.
mm, mostly,
Not mostly. Mostly would be used as a like it's an adverb. So
probability.
yeah, yeah.
We could also use maybe, maybe, and
But no, transitioning from one idea to the other, especially when you're sequencing facts, you would be wanting to use something like to begin with,
to
right?
begin
So
with.
when you're starting with the details, use this expression to begin with or first of all. I think first of all you're comfortable with. I think we can also work with to begin with, right? Then when you're moving on, so then can be replaced with subsequently,
Subsequently,
right? But can be replaced with simple word like however, on the
in
contrary,
addition to,
right? In addition to this, apart from this, or
apart.
not only but also, right? So maybe take a note of a few words which you would want to use. Just write down pointers of it.
Okay, yes, you can tell me. I'm using stick notes.
Okay. So subsequently,
Mm-hmm.
the ones which you're not using often. I'm only working with those. So start with to begin with, then write subsequently.
Okay.
Um, In addition, like, are you comfortable with besides?
Besides, yeah, I'm comfortable.
Okay. So besides, we can use or in addition to it. That sounds
In
very
addition
wonderful.
to, okay.
Okay, let's just work with this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Sure.
right. So, do you think exposing young minds with different cultures will have a greater impact on their social skills?
Mm, yes, I believe in that. Exposing young minds into social skills will leads to something new innovation.
No, exposing young minds to diverse cultures. That
Okay,
was
diverse cultures. Okay. Mm, yes, they would have chances like where they can implement new.
just take pause for a little moment. Think about what your response would be. So you started with yes, it will definitely help them. Right now, you need
Mm,
to tell me how it will help them.
okay, if you don't mind, like, can you come again with a proper question so that like I can figure it out what it is?
Okay, the question is, do you think exposing young minds with diverse cultures will have a greater impact in them building social skills?
Hmm. I think exposing social skills. Can you answer for me for this question? So I'm unable to frame the questions so clearly. Would you
Okay,
help me for the same?
okay. So my answer would be that yes, definitely, it would greatly impact such children, or especially when we talk about young minds. So they are very receptive. They have ability to grasp things very easily and quickly, right? So exposing young children with diverse cultures will not only help them to build to gain more confidence whenever they are socializing themselves. It will also allow them to be aware about what they should be, like how they need to be more morally and ethically sound with respect to the people that they are engaging with. Sometimes we might offend others even when we are not aware about it, just because they're in their culture something might not be acceptable. So if you're aware about such cultural norms, we would be less likely to offend anyone, and this in a way would definitely help them to socialize more and develop their social skills more.
That's great. Okay.
So let me ask you another question. So main thing is that understand what the question is about. If it's a yes or no question, clarify that yes or no. Then mention the reasons why exactly so, right? Um, can you tell me any context in which you usually have conversations in your workplace?
Mm, the general context regarding sharing the knowledge between one person to another person, also called as KT.
Mhm. Okay. Like when it comes to creating content, so what sort of content do you create on
I,
YouTube?
I basically create content regarding jobs, communication, vocabulary, English, and pronunciation. Those kind of the stuff I basically do on YouTube.
Okay, so basically business communication.
No, I'm not into that. It's a general one. I do post this videos like tutor conversations and the general things like how could you answer those such kind of the questions.
Okay. Um, okay, you're giving me the context. Let's say we are working on interview preparation. So if the interviewer asks that, can you define your strengths and weaknesses? So
Yep.
how would you answer this question? I'm sure that you're prepared for it.
My strengths include I'm a self learner, quick learner, and self motivated. So I'm a good team player though, even though I have received several awards for the same. When it comes to my weakness,
Hmm.
I trust people easily and give more attention to them, what they're actually giving back to me.
Okay. Um, you gave me the skills, or you use the terms which might sound fancy to me as interviewer. But did you give me the relevance of these? Like, how do I know that you've actually practiced this in practical scenario.
So it's not an interview. So I mean, so basically, if in case I get to know about the job description, then I could prepare accordingly. What the
Yes,
skills actually required for the job,
based on
since it's
that.
not an interview, that I've given the general skills which I have.
Okay, yeah, but whenever you're talking about something, so it's very important to validate that thing with some evidence, right? And that can be implemented not just for interview preparation, but any question rather. Like for example, when I asked you the question related to that, how can one build more social skills by exposing oneself with more with diverse cultures, right? So I was trying to validate that with some explanation, right? So that explanation or that evidence part was missing when you were giving the answer, and that
Okay.
also has to be somewhere very brief and quick, to the
Mm-hmm.
point also,
Mm-hmm.
right? So since you mentioned about team player, or what are the other things that you mentioned?
Quick learner, self learner.
Quick learner, right? So you can say that there was this one project, or like you have to talk about that in a very brief manner, right?
Yes.
So evidence, like when it comes to structuring your thoughts, so we need to work a little on presenting or expressing those thoughts or validating that with some explanation or examples, right? And we also do have to do it in such a manner that it allows the listener to create a picture in mind. Now what do I mean by that? For example, if I'm to describe my day, right? So the usual adjectives which I can use is that it's a beautiful day or it's a rainy day, right? But if I describe the intensity of rain and if I use the suitable words for it, so you can say throughout the day it has been drizzling and the weather is extremely pleasant. Now, does it create a picture in your mind that what kind of
Yes.
day it is, right? So instead of saying that it's a rainy day, it has a very wide or it has a very vague picture. Like rain can be very intense or it can be drizzling, it can be pouring, right? So I have not used the right words, right? So the way the thing goes, like there are suitable words which you can add into it. If you're doing any action, you can use the suitable adverbs, like we did the task within no time, or we did the task extremely well. So not just saying we did the task in a well manner, it was pulled off in very progressively and within no time. So that creates like that has a clear picture and you're using crisp vocabulary, right? So I think that is one feedback, because your language is already good, right? We need to add in more words like this, because that's how, like that's the next step for you actually. Complex sentence structuring, and automatically you would see the length also gets bigger when it comes to addressing the sentences, right?
Okay.
So last question I would like to ask you, how was your day yesterday?
It is quite hectic. Uh,
Okay.
since I was worked in evening shift like 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. So I'm unable to figure it out all the things in a frequent manner. So I've done things subsequently. So I could say it's a kind of the hectic day.
It was extremely hectic.
Mm.
Okay, now like you gave me some insights to what you did in that like yesterday, right? Like you did give me that I did some tasks or something, or it was quite hectic. So this is how we need to structure our responses. But still, we have like I would be able to point out more if I ask more questions, right?
Yes.
So yeah, looking forward to have more sessions with you. Main thing is that my overall feedback for you would be, try to be a little more descriptive, right? Please work on the explanations and some evidence, like try to add in some evidence, like just a very small example will really have a greater impact on your speech or content delivery. Okay, right, so take care.
Sure. Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you, have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.